War has always been a costly endeavor, financially, politically, and socially. But the scale of expenses currently emerging from Israel's ongoing military operations is staggering, even by global standards. Since 2023, Israel has been embroiled in a relentless and destructive war in Gaza. That alone has placed immense pressure on the nation's finances and infrastructure. And as if one front wasn't enough, Israel has now opened another by entering direct conflict with Iran, a dangerous escalation from what was previously a shadow war marked by covert operations, cyberattacks, and diplomatic sparring. Now, Israel finds itself fighting on two active fronts. This dual-front conflict is consuming vast resources at an unprecedented rate. The costs are mounting by the day, draining Israel's military stockpiles, overextending its defenses, and pushing the limits of its once stable economy. Let's begin with the figures. The war in Gaza alone has so far cost the Israeli government a jaw-dropping 250 billion shekels, which equates to roughly $67.5 billion. That sum encompasses everything from military operations and rebuilding infrastructure to humanitarian aid and losses in tax revenue. What it doesn't include, however, are indirect consequences like lost productivity, business closures, and severe disruptions to supply chains, all of which have crippled the country's economic activity. Then came the escalation with Iran, a dramatic turn that led to direct exchanges of missile and drone fire. Within just 48 hours of heightened conflict, Israel expended an additional 5.5 billion shekels, or approximately $1.45 billion. And that was just the beginning. During the peak of the 12-day confrontation, Israel was spending nearly $725 million each day, with $300 million of that going solely toward jet fuel and munitions. This marks the most expensive military operation in the country's history, far surpassing even its previous wars. A large part of this cost comes from Israel's advanced, multi-layered air defense systems. These include the Iron Dome, designed to intercept short-range rockets, David's Sling, built for medium-range threats, and the Arrow system, which counters long-range ballistic missiles. Despite their sophistication, these systems are now being overwhelmed. Why? Because Iran's strategy has evolved. Rather than launching isolated attacks, Iran is sending coordinated waves of missiles and drones, barrages that blend different types of projectiles, some of which jam GPS systems, others that explode into submunitions mid-air, and some that are launched simultaneously from various Iranian territories. This overload forces Israeli defense commanders to make split-second decisions. Which projectiles should be intercepted? Which ones should be allowed to fall? Each interceptor missile costs about $50,000, meaning defense is not just about accuracy, it's about economics. The longer this goes on, the more financially unsustainable it becomes. According to some estimates, Israel may only have 10 to 12 days' worth of interceptor stockpiles left, unless, of course, the US intervenes and sends more supplies. And war isn't fought solely on the battlefield. It also wages war on balance sheets. To maintain operations, Israel has called up 300,000 military reservists. That means pulling people away from their day jobs, their businesses, and their families. Economically, the cost is steep. Every 100,000 reservists cost the government 70 million shekels a day in wages alone. That's about $20 million. But that figure balloons to 170 million shekels, or $46 million per day, when you consider the broader economic impact, such as lost productivity and reduced commercial activity. Meanwhile, foreign investment is drying up. Business investment has fallen sharply, nearly 68% over the past year alone. Tourism, once a reliable revenue stream, is virtually frozen. Consumer spending has taken a nosedive as people prioritize basic needs and security over luxuries or non-essentials. As a result, the entire economy is contracting. In 2022, Israel was growing at a healthy 6.5% rate. By 2024, that figure plummeted to 0.7%. Some forecasts now predict the economy could shrink by 5% in 2025 if the conflict drags on. As expected, the government has nearly doubled its defense budget to cope with these demands. From around 60 billion shekels in 2023, the defense budget has surged to 118 billion shekels in 2024. That now accounts for roughly 7% of Israel's GDP, second only to Ukraine, another nation currently engulfed in war. But these defense investments come at a cost. Funds are being reallocated from critical sectors. Public healthcare is seeing deep cuts. Education budgets are stagnating. Infrastructure projects are being postponed indefinitely. Though the government insists these are temporary measures, critics worry that Israel is undergoing a permanent shift, one where social welfare will always come second to military preparedness. And so, even if Israel emerges militarily successful, perhaps even weakening Iran's strategic capabilities, the cost will be deeply transformative. Israel risks changing its identity in the process. Known globally as the startup nation, thanks to its innovation-driven tech ecosystem, Israel now finds that brand overshadowed by conflict. The vibrant startup culture that once symbolized Israel's forward-looking spirit is now giving way to a wartime economy, where growth and entrepreneurship are replaced with uncertainty and militarization. As the missile sirens wail and the skies above remain clouded by drones and interceptors, Israel must confront a fundamental question. What kind of nation will it be when the dust settles? Will it be a country that sacrificed its social fabric for security, or one that found a way to reconcile defense with development? In the end, the true legacy of this war may not lie in who won or lost, but in what the conflict changed forever.